Hey, Elaine here, or Ellie Mae, your favorite. We had a little glitch in the system a couple of minutes ago. No worries, I'm back. Thank you so much for sending me your well wishes. Yesterday I wasn't 100%. Now I'm much better getting rid of this cold. So I thank you for all the well wishes and those who send me messages. Thank you so much. Well, yesterday we discussed a little bit about how to ask for a raise and why to ask for a raise, and getting rid of that taboo of not asking for a raise. There's no such thing as you can't ask for a raise, especially if you know your value employee, right? And if you're a business owner, of course, you have to give yourself your own raise. That means that you have to work harder or smarter so that you can expand your business. But today we're more speaking about people that have a career, and I know that sounds strange to you because I'm all about business. And nothing wrong with having a career, nothing wrong with having jobs, because jobs are made for a reason, to take you from point A to point B or point D or point Z. But what to do now after you have mustered all up that courage, have done your research on how much is the right paid salary for your industry based on your years of experience and all what you bring to the table. And then you have realized, or you have also researched what other things that you could ask besides money itself. It could be benefits as part of your raise. And now that you got it, now that either you got that raise or that you changed to a different job in the same industry that's paying you more, that got better benefits, what do we do now with that extra money? Because that's what it's all about. I don't want us to be thinking about money all the time, and we don't have money or what to do with the money. But if we're smart about it, we can enjoy our life without having that stress about thinking about money and not having enough money. And because we're all about financial education. So our topic today is how to stop, and I'm changing a little bit, how to stop that bleeding of that money, how to keep that money that now the money that you're making, the extra money that you're making, right? Because it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. And I want you to think about that. It's not how much you make, but it's how much you keep. So now that you're growing and you're expanding, whether if it's business wise or career wise, and your income is greater, how to stop that bleeding. So yesterday I alluded a little bit about the 50-30-20 rule. That's what we're gonna dive in today. And you might tell yourself, something, I'm out of school, I don't want to hear no lessons or no rules. But this is important, and it takes a lot of discipline. And if you don't want any stress or headache or stop that bleeding, you have to be disciplined. If you're not disciplined, or if you're not willing to work on being disciplined, this is here is not for you. So keep scrolling. But I know you are. That's why you're here with me today. Whether you're with me live or you're gonna watch the replay, you make sure that you tag any of your girlfriends, because we're all in this together. We are growing together. There's no such thing as I have arrived. Listen, the people that have much more money, they have the same headaches that we as middle class families do. The same headaches. They have the same bills, the same everything. They just have it at a higher level. So now, if you're working to increase so that you could do more, not only for your family, for your community, for your church, we have to learn how to handle that money, right? So the 50-30-20 rule. This is based on after tax money. This is based on the money that comes home. I know a lot of us like to say, well, oh yeah, I make $35 an hour, but you're not really bringing home $35 an hour, correct? You're with me, right? Don't throw the phone at me. It's true. Because, we have to pay taxes. We have to pay taxes as we work, and then we got to pay taxes next year. Okay, let's not talk about that right now. We're in December. We still have a few months away. So from your after tax money, that money that actually comes home, this is what experts say it's a great thing to do so that you can work on that budget. We talking about budget and getting our financial home um, in place. Well, they say that from the money that comes home, 50% is for your essential things, like your housing, whether if it's rent or mortgage, like your utilities, your grocery, transportation, and all of those, things that you have to do every month, like your health insurance, your car insurance, your life insurance, those things that are a must. So 50% of that, And we're gonna break it down a little further, but hang on with me. 50% of what you bring home should be for those things. Now, 30% should be for maybe things that you want, not so much of, oh, I must do it. Like the non-essentials, like, you want to dine out, you have a hobby, you want to do a little traveling, shopping for non-essentials. Oh, I forgot on the 50%, the groceries go in there. That's essential, right? And then 20% should be for your savings and planning for the future. For example, building your emergency fund, investment in your retirement, and getting rid of the debt, right? Like credit card debt and stuff like that. Okay, now you might say, okay, well, that sounds nice and dandy, but how do I get it done? Let's do an example. Let's talk numbers, because if you know me, I'm a numbers person, right? So let's actually talk numbers. Now, let's say you as an individual bring $4,000 a month home. That's your bring home money. That's after taxes. So, for example, 50% of that is 2,000, right? And from that 2,000, well, you're gonna pay your rent or your mortgage, your electricity, your groceries, stuff like that. You see how now it's falling in place better? Your car payment, your insurance, that takes about 50% of your paycheck. And that's why sometimes you wonder yourself, well, where does my money go? When you break it down like that, it's way easier not only to see where it's going, but to tweak, um, or find out if you have to, or realize that you have to increase, or you have to increase your money or decrease on some of your expenses, right? But those are the essentials one. You cannot bring your rent down. You can't bring your car payment down. You for God, for God that you cannot bring your groceries down. You got to eat, right? Your family has to eat. Now, 30% of that, now, this is based on somebody that's making $4,000. I know you're saying, oh, $4,000, that's no money. You're probably making much more than that, but we're keeping it, at a mid-level. Now, that was 2,000. Now, 30% of what you bring home is 1,200. So 1,200, that money, it'll be like for your non-essentials. Like if you want to go to dinner a couple of times a month, or, to the movies, shopping on non-essentials. I have a couple of girlfriends that like, their handbags or their shoes. I have a particular one that is kind of hooked on shoes and boots and Crocs. And listen, girlfriend, I give it up to you. I'm not so much into shoes, but I'm into blouses and dresses. So I know how you feel, right? But anyway, that falls into the non-essential. That is that 30%. And that doesn't mean that every month you're going to be spending on movies or dinner, or purchasing things that are non-essential. But if you do, stay in that bracket, stay in that 30%. Don't go over, don't go spending more on non-essentials than essential things, which is your rent, your food, and stuff like that. Then the 20% that's left. Now, if you are making 4,000, if you're bringing home $4,000 a month, forgive me, not bringing home $4,000 a month, 20% of that is $800. So from that $800, you have to choose to save, start working on your emergency fund, building your retirement plan, and putting additional money on some of the debt that you have. So wasn't it better, or didn't it feel better when we now break it down with numbers than just saying, oh, 50, 30, 20? So now you are going to sit down, because remember, it takes discipline, and say, okay, I bring home $5,000 a month. I bring home $6,000 a month. If it's you and your spouse, or you are your partner, whoever you're sharing or pooling your money with, do it together, right? Because you're going to see how you're going to find money to do extra things, not to splurge, but to get out of debt faster, to start planning on your retirement. And yes, maybe even find a couple of dollars. Instead of going out to dinner once a month, you could go out to dinner 2 or 3 times a month. But you see how it takes discipline? Because most of us, when we finish school, and for those of us who went to college and whatever, we just gotten thrown out to this world of adulthood, and we gotten that first paycheck, and what we did, we blew it. And we created that habit. Every time we get paid, bram, 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 we blow that money. And then when we have something to pay, we're scrambling. You know how they say, borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, or stealing from Peter to pay Paul. And we're constantly like that for years. And it's not that uh, we're in a bad situation. It's just, why live with that kind of stress instead of being disciplined? Plan it, and you'll see that you will find money that you didn't even know that you could use to get out of debt faster, or even plan next year's vacation instead of waiting until next year, putting in a credit card and then work for the next year after that to pay the credit cards that you used for the vacation from the year before, right? Okay, that is the 50-30-20 rule. Now we're going to talk about, well, before that, let me tell you the great benefits of it. The benefits of the 50-30-20 rule is that it stops us from spending on unnecessary things because now we have things in categories, right? And then it ensures that our savings are prioritized without sacrificing on things that we enjoy. And also, it avoids lifestyle inflation as your income grows. Now, let's go into lifestyle inflation. I'm not talking about, what's going out there. Remember, we're talking about your household, we're talking about your financial house. So, uh, all of y'all know what inflation is. But lifestyle inflation is like when we make more money, we're not disciplined and we start spending more. So now it creeps into our um, house financial home, the bleeding. Okay, for example, we get a better job. We're getting paid an extra $5,000 a year from the previous job, or we get a higher position. So before we sit down and do the 50-30-20 rule, we already start planning on that money and spending the money. We go get a nicer car or a newer car. We buy a home. All of those things are great. But if we don't sit down and plan it properly, we're going to fall again in the same habits of robbing Peter to pay Paul, even though you make more money, because we haven't established the habits of the 50-30-20 rule. So now, what do we need to do when it comes to the lifestyle inflation? Well, the problem, well, not what we need to do. The problem of not having a life, of not being aware of the lifestyle inflation, like I said, we are not going to be able to save some money for the future, even though you earn more, right? We're going to be living paycheck to paycheck, and we're going to be stuck. Would you want to be stuck in the same position that you are financially today, 5 years from now? You want to be able to do more, not only for yourself, for your family, for your community, for your church. I'll repeat it over and over again. I was not put on this earth just to work and pay bills, and pay bills. I was put on this earth to make an impact on my community, in my family, and whatever organization you are affiliated with, right? So if you're living paycheck to paycheck, how are you going to be able to do so? That's why the 50-30-20 rule is important, and also being aware of the lifestyle inflation. So now we have to allocate or decide how much money we're going to uh, increase in each category. Like I said, an extra $5,000 a year on your new job. Okay, maybe that's not a lot, but for some people, maybe that is a lot. Listen, I pray and I hope that when you're going for that job increase or for that new job or new position, you get much more than that. Because when you think of it, if you did buy 5,000 in 12 months, it's not really a lot of money. That's why we have to be aware. We have to be wary of that lifestyle inflation, because we think, oh, I'm making extra $5,000, but really, when you divide it in 12 months, it's not a lot of money. So now we start overspending. We start dreaming about things that we're not ready for. Listen, how sweet it is that you take your time and be disciplined. They call it delayed gratification, right? Take your time, be disciplined, and wait till the time is right to do the things that you want to do. And if, not if, it's nothing wrong with consulting with a financial coach. Shameless plug, because you could find out information or ideas or little things that you could tweak. Like one of my coaches says all the time, carburetor adjustments. I'm not sitting here telling you that you are all messed up. I'm just saying that if you're sick and tired of living the same way over and over, paycheck to paycheck, something has to stop. Something has to give. I know you like to buy your lattes. I know you have to, you love to go out to dinner 3 times a week. But unless we are disciplined and start shaving on some of those things now, later we won't be able to do them, right? So let's start shaving on some of those things now, so then later you'll be able to do them without any headache. Don't that sound better? Now, um, and I'm not saying that if you get a better job or pay increase, not to celebrate it. Of course, listen, we're humans. You have to celebrate it. Well, you don't have to, but if you want to, also plan it as well. But anyway, um, I always try to keep mindful of the time. So let's do this. Let's evaluate our needs and our wants, and then you could realize what's more important and what is non-essential. Because I'm not saying that things in your life are not important, but there are things that are more important that you have to prioritize, right? So that's why it's so important to be disciplined. Listen, when if you let me give an example that we all know. Let's say, for instance, the tennis greats, Serena Williams and all of these people, or basketball greats, you know, for a certain amount of time, they sacrifice on their entertainment. And then nobody has told me, I know, because when you're to that level of greatness, you have to sacrifice of things that don't go towards your goal, right? I'm not saying that they never went out to dinner or to the movies or took a vacation, but what I'm saying is that that's part of being disciplined and that delayed gratification, right? You work hard for X amount of time, and don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about hard labor. I'm talking about sacrificing on certain things now, so later you could enjoy them better. Let's say, for instance, you love to play golf, and you are a great golfer, but at this time in your life, your finances are not where they're supposed to be. So the time that you're spending playing golf, and I'm not saying you can't go weekend and play golf. I'm just saying that if you're putting the playing golf or whatever it is on top of your household necessities, you're gonna come to a point that you're gonna be in trouble. So why not do something that brings income into your household, whether if it's a second job or whether if it's a part-time business, whether how people call it now, the gigs or the hustling, so that you could get rid of some debt. And then when you do that, it might not take you a long time. It might take you 6 to 12 months to get rid of a particular thing. And then after that, you even have extra money to even go to a nice country club and play golf, right? But anyway, that's another day, another topic about delayed gratification. I just want for all of us to work together. We're all in this together. We all want to do more for for ourselves and for our families and our community, our church. But living paycheck to paycheck is not gonna cut it. So we went through a couple of things. You can always reach me at on Messenger, on on my business line 904-420-2211. You could text me anytime, and all social medias I'm Ellie Mae Johnson. It's the same person. But the thing is that let's do that financial analysis. I always say the GPS that takes you from where you at to where you want to be. It shows you the roadmap, and it's up to you if you want to follow it. I could take a map and look at the GPS and tells me to go from Florida to New York or to Washington D.C. If we've driven 1,000 times and it says go this route, but I don't have to follow it. But if I take longer, if I get in trouble, if I get lost, it's my fault. But the thing is, the GPS was there to guide me. So the same thing, a financial analysis is there to guide you. So whether you want to speak to me or any of the other financial coaches in our office, you're welcome to do so. If you want to start planning for your retirement, we definitely could set you up with one of our financial experts, or investment experts, so that you could start from now. Listen, in your 30s is the best time to start. But if you're in your 40s and in your 50s, it's never too late. You just have to be disciplined. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure you tag a girlfriend, because for some reason, um, they say, I'm not claiming it, that women always got something with money. And so let's get that taboo away. Let's get that mark from our check mark from our forehead. Let's be good with our money. Let's bring something to the table. Let's build with our partner, or if you're by yourself, our financial home, to the level that no matter what happens, it's not gonna fall down. But anyway, Ellie Mae here, your financial coach, helping you develop, helping you make, help you make money, save money, and get out of debt. And see you next time. Bye for now.